FSC Biology Chapter 14 second half. FSC Biology Chapter 14 second half complete. The best line summarized for the preparation of PPSC lecturer and subject specialist zoology and biology. In this second part of chapter 14 complete, we shall discuss transport in man up to the immunity, and only your courage and passion can defeat the boring aspect of the study. So let's start. Plasma. The weight of blood in humans is almost 1/12 of body weight. So if you want to calculate the blood amount in a person, simply multiply the weight of the body with the 1/12 value and you shall get. For example, if the person is 100 kilogram in weight, its blood weight will be 8.33 and so on. Plasma constitutes 55% of blood volume and it is 90% water itself. Inorganic ions and salts make 0.9%, and among this 0.9%, most part 2/3 is sodium chloride. Normal pH of human blood is 7.4. Proteins make 7 to 9% by weight of plasma. Most are synthesized in liver. So many proteins which are present in plasma are majorly synthesized in the liver. Now, prothrombin is blood clotting catalyst, while fibrinogen take part in clotting. Please note the difference here. Prothrombin is a catalyst which catalyzes the reaction or combination of these platelets, while fibrinogen is a protein which take part in the process of clotting. Lactic acid is produced by glycolysis in muscles and is sent to liver by blood. Blood contains both urea and uric acid, please remember. Blood cells. Red blood cells and white blood cells are produced in bone marrow from stem cells. Hematopoietic stem cells are immature cells which can produce all types of blood cells. So please remember the name. Hematopoietic stem cells can produce all sorts of blood cells. Red blood cells are around 5.5 million in males, while 4.5 million in females. Red blood cells nucleus is last before entry into stream of blood. So mature RBCs do not have nucleus. RBCs when mature do not divide, and 95% cytoplasm is hemoglobin of the RBCs. RBCs are formed in short red bone marrow like sternum, ribs and vertebrae of the vertebral column, but in embryonic form they are formed in liver and spleen because in the embryo these bones are not present. RBCs after 4 months are degraded in liver and spleen by phagocytosis. So the age of RBCs is 4 months or 120 days. White blood cells. They are called white, but actually they are colorless because in science most of the time we say white as colorless. They are 7,000 to 8,000 in 1 cubic millimeter. On the basis of shape of nucleus and density of granules, there are 5 types of white blood cells majorly. Now Ben, please remember Ben. Basophils, eosinophils and neutrophils are granulocytes. They have granules or granular morphology formed in red marrow, while monocytes B and T lymphocytes are agranulocytes. They are formed in nodes, spleen, tonsils, adenoids and thymus. Please note the difference between granulocytes and agranulocytes as well as remember the examples. Life of monocyte is 10 to 20 hours in blood. Then they enter into tissues and become macrophages. So they are intermediate kind of cells and they convert into macrophages. Lymphocytes have lifespan of months and maybe years. Monocytes and neutrophils cross capillaries to reach wounds, that is site of bacteria or attack of antigens. Macrophages and neutrophils eat bacteria and cancer cells. So they eat both bacteria and cancer cells and die to form pus. So itself they die and they gather in the form of pus when we see a wound healing. Basophil produce heparin to inhibit clotting. Please remember, heparin inhibit clotting and histamines for allergic reactions. So allergic reactions mean like inflammation or Sujan. Now that table is very important for you. Please at least spend 1 hour by remembering the facts given in this table, especially these functions. and relate these functions with the types of white blood cells, like which cells release heparin to prevent blood clots and histamine which cause inflammation. They are basophils. So just like this, please remember all the types of cells as well as their major functions, and if you want further detail, then please study their nucleus nature, whether it is bilobed, it is five-lobed, or it is larger or smaller. And in lymphocyte, you can say most part of the cytoplasm is covered by nucleus. So such distinctive characteristics are very important for you to revise and remember, please. Platelets. Platelets are fragments of megakaryocytes. They are not actually cells. No nucleus and pigment because they are not cells. Platelets convert soluble fibrinogen into insoluble fibrin. Now difference is here. Fibrinogen is water soluble while fibrin is water insoluble. These are the points for you to pay attention. Proteins in plasma maintain colloid osmotic pressure, which is albumin almost 75% pressure and globulin almost 25% contribution. Please remember these facts. Interferon and antitoxins are proteins against viruses or nucleic acids. So interferons are mostly used as antivirals. Now, disorders of blood. Leukemia, which is also called blood cancer. Uncontrolled production of leukocytes, white blood cells, due to mutation in myelogenous bone marrow cells. Myelogenous cells are called bone marrow cells or lymphogenous cells. So myelogenous and lymphogenous cells came in the mutation, and that mutation results into leukemia. White blood cells are abnormal and can be produced even by other organs of the body. These white blood cells are not completely differentiated, so they are defective in case of leukemia only. Patients needs to change the blood from donors and cured by marrow transplant only, which may be successful or not. Thalassemia, which is also called Cooley's anemia because of an American pediatrician Cooley. Please remember that this Cooley was an American pediatrician. It is a genetically transmitted hemoglobin abnormality. So thalassemia is a genetic disease. It is identified by microcytes due to splenomegaly. Splenomegaly is actually enlargement of the spleen, and changes in bone and skin textures also can be the symptom for this disease. Hemoglobin does not have beta chain. Instead, fetal hemoglobin chain is present. Now please remember the difference between the hemoglobin of a normal blood and hemoglobin of the thalassemic patient blood. Edema. Edema is a presence of excess fluid in tissues of body. Excess fluids like interstitial fluid or lymphatic fluid, etc. It may be intracellular or extracellular. So the fluid may be present in excess amount in the cells or around the cells. Intracellular is caused by osmosis of water into cells, causing reduction in sodium pump. Extracellular is due leakage of blood capillaries or lymphatic system. It is caused by renal retention of salt and water. These salts and waters are not excreted. It disturbs the concentration of minerals and ions in body cells, causing blood pressure and increased load on the heart. That is about edema. Please remember that is a unique disease, and that's why it may be asked. Human heart. Pericardium is double membrane sac that enclose the heart and lock overextension. Overextension is prohibited by the pericardium, and it is a double membrane. Wall of heart has 3 layers: epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. Myocardium is made of cardiac muscles. That is the important thing. Cardiac muscles contain myofibrils and myofilaments of myosin and actin proteins. Working is same as skeletal muscles, but they are branched cells separated by intercalated discs. So that is the difference between cardiac muscles and skeletal muscles. In cardiac muscles, the cells are branched, and also these cells are separated by intercalated discs. Contraction of heart is under autonomic nervous system. Tricuspid valve is present between right atrium and right ventricle. because it has three flaps. So three flaps of tricuspid valve are attached to cardiac tendini to papillary muscles. Please remember these terms. Cardiac tendini or papillary muscles, they are actually attached with these kind of muscles. Papillary muscles are extensions of wall of right ventricle as well as they are present in the left ventricle. Now, at the base of right pulmonary trunk, semilunar valves are present. So, where semilunar valves are present in the heart? At the base of right pulmonary trunk. Wall of left ventricle is 3 times thicker than right ventricle. So, the most powerful chamber of the heart is the left ventricle. Coronary arteries arise at the base of aorta, which supply blood to heart muscles. Before descending down, 3 arteries arise from aorta. So, how many arteries arise from aorta before descending down? 3. And those 3 supply blood to head, arms and shoulder. At lower abdomen, aorta bifurcates to 2 iliac arteries, which leads to legs and supply blood. Liver receives blood from hepatic portal vein with food. So that blood with food entered liver through hepatic portal vein. Cardiac cycle. Relaxed period of heart chambers, both atria and ventricles, when blood enters atria is called diastole. So the relaxation of the heart is actually diastole. During diastole, atria have more pressure than ventricles because blood is filling. Simultaneous contraction of atria is called systole. Atrial systole actually. When filled with blood, both ventricles contract simultaneously at a time. This is called ventricular systole. Tricuspid and bicuspid valves close to produce sound lub. So please remember, the lub sound is produced by tricuspid and bicuspid valves. When ventricles relax, at the same time, semilunar valves at the base of pulmonary artery and aorta close simultaneously and dub sound is produced. So dub sound is produced by closing of semilunar valves at the base of pulmonary artery and aorta as well. Now complete heartbeat is 1 systole and 1 diastole, and it takes almost 0.8 seconds. So the life span for the cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. Heart contracts around 2.5 billion times during one's life in average. Mechanism of excitation, stimulation and contraction of the heart. Heartbeat cycle starts when sinoatrial node, SA node, called as pacemaker, at upper end of right atrium sends electrical impulses to atrial muscles, asking both atria to contract. So the pacemaker is present in SA node. Pacemaker is consisted of cardiac fibers, myofibrils and nerve endings. These 3 constituents make the pacemaker. Now, atrioventricular AV node send impulse to myocardium via excitable fibers in interventricular septum. There is delay of 0.15 seconds in conductance from SA node to AV node, allowing atrial systole to be completed before ventricular systole. That is intelligence. Electrocardiogram is a recording of electrical potential generated by heart in surrounding tissues of body. Now P wave prior to atrial contraction, QRS wave prior to ventricle, and T wave is ventricle recovery. So these 3 kinds of waves are seen in an ECG graph. QRS wave is 0.2 second, and from QRS to T wave also take 0.2 second in normal ECG. So if you want to read the ECG result, then you can note the time differences. If the time is normal 0.2, then the patient is normal. Artificial pacemaker and blue babies. If there is some block or weakness in flow of electrical impulses from SA node, it may lead to death. So a battery operated artificial pacemaker producing electrical stimulus is used instead. This is called artificial pacemaker. Both SA nodes and AV nodes can be managed artificially for atria and ventricles using these pacemakers. Now, interatrial foramen, please remember, interatrial foramen is an opening between both atria during the infant lifestyle or during embryo. This opening is closed during development of heart. So, if it fails to close or ductus arteriosus fails to fully constrict, then it results in cyanosis. Cyanosis is actually blueness of the skin, and blood of the both oxygenated and deoxygenated become mixed between two atria, and the skin color of the baby become bluish. That's why those babies are called as blue babies, whose blood is mixed in the atria. Arteries, veins and capillaries, very quick overview. Both arteries and veins walls are made of three layers. Outer layer is connective tissue, middle layer is smooth muscles of circular muscles with elastic fibers, and inner is endothelium. So these are the three layers which constitute the wall of arteries and veins. Middle muscular in arteries is under control of central nervous system and endocrine system. So if hormones want, they can control the contraction and relaxation of the muscles in the arteries. That's why the vasodilation and vasoconstrictions occur based on the chemicals. So vasoconstrictions and vasodilation. Vasoconstriction is contraction of the vessels, and vasodilation is the expansion of the vessels that is regulated by CNS and endocrine system. Middle layer of veins is thin and slightly muscular with less fibers. So middle layer of veins, not arteries. Veins is thin and slightly muscular. Veins are squashed or pressed by contraction of surrounding muscles, which lead the flow of blood in veins because they itself cannot contract. Semilunar valves are present only in veins to prevent the backflow of blood. Interstitial fluid or intercellular fluid, you may also call, do not have red blood cells, platelets and large proteins because these components cannot cross the pores in the capillaries. That's why they remain inside the capillaries. All the rest, salt, water, other solutions which can cross the capillary wall are present in the interstitial fluid. Histamine dilate the blood capillaries, expand the blood capillaries, and precapillary sphincters regulate the flow of blood in the capillaries. Please remember, precapillary sphincters are also present in the capillaries. High pressure with low diameter in arteries and vice versa in veins mean that low pressure with high diameter or high large lumen of the veins. Atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis means porridge hardening. Porridge, you may know that it's a type of food. Atheroma is deposition of hard yellow plaque of lipid or lipid material in arteries, which may be a cholesterol most of the time. Arteriosclerosis is a degenerative arterial change with age, especially thickening of middle layer of arteries with the age. So when both these conditions, deposition of plaque and degeneration of the arteries, occur together or simultaneously, that is atherosclerosis. So when both conditions coexist, they are called atherosclerosis. It results into narrowing and hardening of arteries, and finally thrombus formation. We shall discuss thrombus little bit later. Thrombus formation in brain or heart is fatal. It can kill the person. Now, major condition leading to heart attack is atherosclerosis. So if you are asked that which of the following is the major reason for the heart attack, then you may take atherosclerosis. Blood pressure. The force of blood to push against the walls of blood vessels from inside is called blood pressure. Ventricle systole generate blood pressure and is highest in aorta. Stretching of arteries due to ventricle systole is called pulse. Systolic pressure is 120 mm of mercury, while diastolic is between 75 to 85. So normally we take it as average 80 millimeter of mercury. Blood pressure decline or reduce due to friction with the blood vessels. As the blood passes long through the vessels, its pressure becomes low. Capillaries has no pulse because systolic and diastolic becomes equal in capillaries. Highest blood pressure is in aorta and lowest is in vena cava. Please remember, velocity of blood is directly related to cross-sectional area of vessel. So if the cross-sectional or diameter of the vessel is large, then the velocity of blood will be high. If the diameter is small, velocity will be low, as in capillaries and arteries. Hypertension is consistent high blood pressure condition, that is angerness. Now, congestive heart failure is due to our retention of blood in heart and lungs. So, if blood remain in heart most of the time and remain in lungs most of the time, that is called congestive failure, and it is the result of this disease. Now, thrombus formation and some other disorders related to blood pressure. Thrombus is a solid clot in blood vessels formed of blood constituents which are plugged together like cholesterol. If this thrombus dislodge or break from one place and move with the blood to other place and then stuck there, it is called embolus. Now, thromboembolism is a leading cause of death in Western civilizations. It may be due to infection, reduced blood flow, pneumonia, TB or emphysema. These are the causing agents which may cause this thromboembolism. Embolus, which is a moving thrombus, actually cause necrosis or damage to the portion of heart called heart attack. So that is actually the heart attack or myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction, heart attack, is due to disruption of control system resulting into arrhythmias like ventricular fibrillation. So ventricular fibrillation is disturbed and the myocardial infarction may occur. Cerebral infarction or brain stroke is caused by embolus in brain vessels, which result in necrosis of neural tissue or blockage of oxygen. Brain hemorrhage is bursting of stiff blood vessels. So these blood vessels actually lose their elasticity and they become stiff, and when blood pressure become high, they burst. That condition in the brain is called brain hemorrhage. Lymphatic system. Lymph capillaries are blind-ended. Thoracic lymph duct open into subclavian vein. Flow of lymph is always toward thoracic duct. Lymph vessels have valves which prevent backflow. Masses of connective tissues where lymphocytes are present are lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are drained through single efferent vessel, and while many afferent vessels enter each lymph node. Nodes are present in neck, axilla and groin areas in humans, that is between the legs. Spleen, thymus, tonsils and adenoids are the major lymphoid masses which produce lymphocytes. Spleen is graveyard of foreign particles and red blood cells because it filters blood with the help of macrophages and lymphocytes, and these macrophages and lymphocytes kill the antigens as well as red blood cells which destroy. Immunity. Immune system is actually a third line of defense or mechanism to defend by animals. The first two are physical barriers and active immunity. Components of immune system are B and T lymphocytes and antibodies as they are written in the textbook. T lymphocytes get their name from thymus, while B from bursa of Fabricius. Please remember, the B lymphocyte B name is given due to its discovery in bursa of Fabricius in cloaca of birds, and that B is not linked with the blood. Immunoglobulins are antibodies while immunogens are antigens. Antibodies are manufactured in B lymphocytes. Antibody molecule is consisted of 4 polypeptide chains. Among them, 2 are light chains or small chains, while 2 are heavy chains or large chains. Chains are linked by disulfide bridges or disulfide bond or sulfur-sulfur bond with each other. Light chains and upper end of heavy chains have variable amino acid sequences. That's why these are specific to bind with specific antigens. Single class of antibodies have same constant sequences of amino acids in the heavy chain. Now, large antigen antibody complexes are formed on the surface of cells only when there are multiple copies of antigens. Cell-mediated response is produced by T cells by recognition of antigen or tissues. Now these facts are very important. Please pay attention. B cell, when recognize antigen, it form plasma cell clones to form antibodies. So B cells become plasma cells when an antigen is recognized. Antibodies attach with bacteria and speed up their phagocytosis or neutralize the toxins produced by them by producing antitoxins. So that is the mechanism of working of antibodies. This is called humoral response. Vaccination against polio, smallpox, measles and mumps, please remember these 4 diseases, is done once in lifetime. Now, types of immunity. Immunity achieved by artificially introducing antigens is called artificially induced active immunity, while if a person gets an antigen by chance and gets ill and then survive and become immune, it is called autoimmune response or natural immunity. Anti-serum has antibodies. Please remember, when antibodies are injected in the form of anti-sera to make a person immune against a disease, it is called passive immunity. And nowadays coronavirus is spreading, and this passive immunity is being used most of the countries to cope with the disease. Passive response is immediate but do not last long because injected antibodies quickly react. They do not require the preparatory time, and when they are all used, no new are formed. That's why cannot long last. Tetanus, infectious hepatitis, rabies and snake bites are treated by antibodies, while antivenom serum for snake venom has antitoxins, not antibodies. On upper side you can see anti-serum has antibodies, but this antivenom serum do not have antibodies, it has antitoxins. Upcoming video inshallah chapter 15, second year homeostasis. Hope you are enjoying the learning and are preparing passionately for PPSC lectureship and subject specialist. Thank you so much for staying with me. Stay prepared, stay happy and stay healthy. Allah Hafiz.